Hello and welcome to another edition of CropLife Retail Week. Paul Schrimpf with Eric Sfiligoj. See, we're a little earlier recording this week.
Yes, on Patriots Day, I guess.
Yes, yeah, it is Patriots Day. I'm heading out for a short business trip, and then I'm going to a trip of another kind later in the week.
Don't do it.
A trip to one of those post-50-year-old appointments that everyone dreads for the first time. So
okay, Paul, that says enough. Yeah, and before we forget, of course, you'll be seeing this. Happy Easter to everyone out there in viewing land, because when you see this video, Easter will be just a day away.
Yes, it'll be wonderful to have the kids home, right, for those who have elementary school kids, which could mean a certain other child appearing somewhere, possibly, in a video.
Oh, maybe. Yes,
maybe. Maybe the return.
Maybe. It's possible.
Assuming
we'll hold that surprise for next week. So.
Well, they'll know to look for something, because
yes.
I will not be here. I'll be traveling next week as well. So,
okay.
So with that, so it's been a busy week. So one thing I saw was very sad is that Notre Dame Cathedral's on fire. If you can believe that.
I did hear that. I mean, are there any estimation on the extent of the fire?
Mostly just now what we're seeing, and I'm sure there's a lot more details by the time we get this video out there. But it looked pretty bad. I know they had scaffolding on it for a long time. They've been doing work. I assume it was something to do with construction work. But yeah, that's a shame.
That is a shame. Hopefully that's not damaged too badly. So.
Yeah. Well, but back in the agricultural side, I noticed that the Census of Agriculture came out just recently, and the statistics date from 2017, so they're fairly recent. It's been a while since we've really seen something new. Average age of the farmer inched up just a little bit. I think about a year and a half.
Okay.
And noted that they talk about the number of farms, and I wish I think it goes up to 3,000 acres or more. Maybe it's 2,000 acres or more, and you really need to start breaking up that higher level, because 2,000 and more really doesn't make any kind of a difference. I mean, when you get to that, that 3,000 to 5,000 acres or 5,000 or more, you get a better sense for where things are headed, because the numbers seem to indicate that farms are definitely getting larger. There's definitely a bigger chasm between the small farms and the largest farms. Yeah. But it's hard to tell how dramatic that difference is without really having more of the numbers in that higher range. But it is interesting. I think it does show that we've had a continuance of the consolidation, but it's been pretty slow.
Well, actually, speaking of some government statistics, we found out this week from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics that, Paul, this year in 2019, that we're seeing some decreases in certain industries across the country in terms of hiring. And lo and behold, agriculture is kind of leading the way. Second place, 11.1% decrease in hiring for agriculture here in 2019. So second only behind the arts. I'm not quite sure how they're defining arts, Paul. I didn't look that up. But yeah, like I say, agriculture decrease in hiring. So, we're seeing a decrease in the number of people who either want to get involved in ag or, it's just not a thing people are looking for in the future for their careers.
That or just there's such a lack of people that are available or qualified for the jobs that either they're not hiring or they're repurposing or they're combining roles or something along those lines.
And that could be it as well, because I also saw a statistic in those numbers that said there's more than 1 million jobs out in the marketplace that are begging for someone to actually come and take the job because they just can't find their qualified person. And that very well may be why we're seeing the decrease in agriculture. I know in our pages of our magazine, we've had folks talking about the problems they've had finding good workers and retaining them. So apparently this is just a continuing problem.
Interesting. What else is going on, sir?
Well, the one thing we've been talking about the last couple of weeks, of course, the flooding in the Midwest. And we found out this week that the USDA and Sonny Perdue are kind of stepping in to help out some folks in Iowa who are dealing with some of the flooding. They're going to help them with some various programs that they can apply for in the various counties. And the one thing that was kind of interesting, Paul, was they said that producers who suffer losses or are prevented from planting agricultural commodities not covered by federal crop insurance may be eligible for the USDA's non-insured crop disaster assistance program if these losses were due to a natural disaster. So I think flooding would definitely qualify as a natural disaster. So we'll see how many folks across Iowa actually take advantage of these programs between now here and June.
Yeah, by all accounts, it's been a a record year for the crazy weather that we've had. It's unbelievable.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're recording this on tax day, April 15th, here in Cleveland, and this morning we actually had snow coming down for about an hour or so. Nothing stuck, thankfully, but again, the weather, you're right, Paul, it has been the talk of a mod of the nation this year.
Yep. Contrary to popular belief, that's not common in Cleveland, even though people think we're covered in snow for 10 months out.
Now, I remember one year back in my high school days, we used to run track, and we were supposed to have an outdoor meet on April 20th, and lo and behold, we got snowed out because there was 3 inches of snow that day. So it can happen.
It can.
Don't say it can't.
It can. I know.
And one other thing to add on the front of consolidation, we found that there were 2 more Iowa cooperatives that voted here in early April to get together formally. We got Mid-Iowa Cooperative and East Central Iowa Cooperative. Between the 2 of them, Paul, they have 8 locations. They're going to maintain the Mid-Iowa Cooperative name, and it looks like that merger will be done here at the beginning of May.
That leaves about, 6 cooperatives in Iowa now?
Believe it or not, Iowa had a ton of cooperatives at the beginning of the 2000s, so there's probably still well over a couple of hundred left to go. So.
Yeah, it just didn't seem. I mean, it seemed like we've had just massive consolidation. I mean, I was kind of ahead of the curve in terms of I guess consolidations over the years. But
yeah. So I guess you're going to be traveling somewhere in Chicago. I think the end of the month, correct?
Yes, the AUVSI conference, it's called Exponential, and. So we're already getting some drone announcements, interesting, and imagery, some of the things that are going on in the market. There's a lot of data compatibility, a lot of, I guess, cooperation between data companies and drone companies in terms of one supplying imagery and have kind of helped put all the information together. So yeah, it's great that we're choosing partners, and we got past the exuberance, past the irrational stuff, and really, now we're going to apply these technologies to make sure that they're useful and usable for the end user.
Well, we'll have to see how soon we get some of these drones actually. I have yet to actually visit, I hate to say it, a farm where they're actually actively employing the drones. I'm sure there's some out there. Please, if you're doing that in the marketplace, know someone that is, drop us a line so we can follow up with that.
Or if you're tired of your drone, you can just send it to us.
We'll fly it in the studio behind us. What a concept! We can do a visual
shots
behind us and in front
because
you can't see
enough.
the back of our heads. Yes.
Wow, what a way to end it!
Oh God!
Okay, so
all right, well, have fun with your trips.
Absolutely, that's it for this edition of CropLife Retail Week, and we'll see you next week. If you have questions or comments about today's episode of Retail Week, contact us by email or Twitter, or type your message in the comment section below.
Your feedback is important to us. We'll try our best to address your thoughts in next week's episode.
And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel.